Hey kids. So this past week I went back home to get some clothes for work. And had a conversation with my father. Fun stuff. My dad is, it's hard for me to describe this, but both my parents are pretty narrow-minded in the way that they take in new information about the world. But my mom is a bit more open to accepting things at face value than my father is. And so the way that I like to describe them is my mom is a brick fucking wall. And my dad is a lump of putty. So for my mom, she's able to accept things that she doesn't quite understand at face value and just, go along with them. But for those things that she just can't wrap her head around, she is fucking impermeable, like a brick fucking wall. My dad, on the other hand, when he doesn't understand something, he doesn't let it in unless you can explain it to him in a way that he can empathize. But when he can empathize, he's going to take in every last little bit of anything that you give him because he's very malleable. So my mom is a brick wall, my dad is putty. So I'm at my parents' house. And my dad sits down and he has two things that he talks to me about. The other thing I do want to talk about, just remind me because I'm gonna fucking forget, about interracial dating. But he sits down and he starts talking about family structure. He gets into some fucking hotep shit for real, and it's irritating. So the way that he explained it was that the family structure is supposed to be the man, which is knowledge, the woman, that is wisdom, and the child, understanding. Which, okay, alright, where are we going from here? He believes that when that balance is disrupted, that society begins to crumble. It falls apart. He's very pro-black, and so this is going to be more geared towards black people. But he believes that the absence of so many fathers in the black community has resulted in an epidemic of homosexuality. That is literally what he said. And so it's like it's a fucking disease. Yeah, it's hard to even want to have a conversation with a person that refers to homosexuality as a disease, but let's go. He believes that it is the fault of black women in raising their black sons. It's mostly sons. He's mostly he finds homosexuality in men repugnant, and bisexuality is even worse. But he feels that, I guess, black mothers are instilling these feminine qualities onto their sons that encourages gayness, that turns them gay. I can't even follow that logic. I can't, even conceive, but I'm believing that's what he's trying to say to me. And so he thinks that it's the man's job to instill masculinity in their sons, and women are just not capable of doing that. And that results in homosexuality. Yeah. It's just really weird when you're close to a person who is straight up a homophobe. It's so strange because he's sitting here fucking rationalizing this shit with religion. He's not even religious, but he falls back on religion real fucking hard. He runs back to it the second he talks about homosexuality. there's no other way for him to see homosexuality outside of the lens of religion. And I find that annoying. But in that, I believe that I can maybe humanize homosexuality to him, or just LGBT in general to him. And I think I have on some level, because when he refers to his disgust with homosexual people, it's mostly men. He doesn't even really broach women at all. And I think that is in part because he knows that I am not straight. I'm not. And it's funny as shit to hear all this rhetoric about having single parent households that have spawned these gay children, when I grew up in a 2-parent household and I am gay as fuck. So something's not fucking adding up here. Something is not connecting. Something is not making entire sense here. And maybe you need to reevaluate the way that you are seeing this. I do agree, however, that having a single parent household is difficult. It's incredibly difficult for a parent on their own, a mother or a father, to raise children and support a household. And it's not something that's impossible to do, to raise a family well as a single parent, but it is hard. And yeah, I do think that affects how children come out. But I don't think it has any bearing on their sexuality whatsoever. My dad also believes that the number of gay people, LGBT people, has skyrocketed. And that's somehow a problem. And I actually kind of agree. And let me tell you why. I think the prevalence of openly gay, openly LGBT individuals has gone up a great deal. And that's because people feel comfortable in being them fucking selves in public, expressing who they truly are. And that is fucking beautiful, because honestly, for me, I can't relate. I was bred to feel as though who I am is wrong. And my entire life I've spent being someone else, being other people. It's weird when you spend so much time making masks to appear like you are a normal individual, when you've always been a normal individual, but you have no reference for who you are because you've always been someone else. And my parents, I don't think, get that. They've almost controlled my entire experience as a child and adolescent, to the point that I'm not sure that happiness is something that I am capable of. That fulfillment in being an actualized individual is something that I am capable of. Because there are some milestones that I fucking missed growing up. It's just frustrating. It's very fucking frustrating having homophobic parents. Because they stifle you. They stifle you in ways that they don't know. And you don't know either until you've grown up and realize you don't know who you are. And it's hard to respect a person who feels that's alright to do to someone. To condition someone not to be themselves. But yeah. The epidemic of homosexuality. I'm totally a part of it. It's great. It's fucking great.